8 key tips for travel to Japan. Traveling to Japan can be an exciting and enriching experience. What are the key tips to travel to Japan? Here are 8 key tips to help you make the most of your trip. Number 8. Respect local customs and etiquette. In daily interactions, the deeply ingrained Japanese customs and manners play a crucial role. Bowing is a customary way to welcome someone, show respect, convey appreciation, or apologize. The depth of the bow depends on the situation and the relationships between people. Informally, a head nod is appropriate when greeting someone. In formal settings, a deeper bow that involves bending at the waist is used to express profound respect. It is customary to take off shoes before entering residences, temples, ryokans, and occasionally even restaurants. Seek out places designated for the storage of shoes, such as shoe racks. Slippers, which are frequently given, are meant to be worn indoors. In Japanese society, peace and consideration for others are highly valued. When in public places like restaurants, buses, and trains, keep your conversations to yourself. When watching videos or listening to music in public areas, wear headphones. In Japan, it's customary to offer gifts to people you meet or when you visit their home for business. Presents need to be elegantly wrapped. Don't wrap presents in white paper because that color is connected to funerals. When dining out, show your appreciation for the meal by saying "itadakimasu," waiting to be seated before you begin. Say "gachisu sama deshita" to express gratitude to the chef or host after you're done. Number 7. Learn basic Japanese phrases. Gaining some basic Japanese language skills will improve your trip to Japan in a number of ways. Even though English is becoming more and more common in tourist areas, many Japanese people value and welcome visitors who try to communicate with them in their mother tongue. First of all, being able to say basic phrases like good morning, good night, hello, and goodbye enables you to start conversations in an orderly and respectful manner. It demonstrates your attempt to engage with locals on their terms, which can result in friendlier greetings and more seamless exchanges. Second, being able to say simple things like "excuse me, sorry," and "thank you very much" shows that one is aware of and respectful of Japanese culture. Whether you're placing an order for takeout, requesting directions, or asking for help, you'll often hear these expressions in everyday conversations. When used properly, they not only help with communication but also promote goodwill and favorable perceptions among the community's residents. Furthermore, knowing a few basic Japanese phrases will make it easier for you to deal with real-world scenarios. Asking questions like "do you speak English?" or "where is the restroom?" can be quite helpful in a variety of situations, such as train stations and restaurants. Speaking even a few words of Japanese demonstrates your sincere interest in and respect for Japanese culture, in addition to its practical value. Locals frequently value tourists' efforts to become linguistically proficient, which can result in more meaningful cross-cultural interactions and rewarding travel experiences. Finally, even though fluency in Japanese is not a must, learning the language can greatly improve your travel experience in Japan. It promotes closer ties with the people and culture of Japan and not only makes interactions more seamless and effective, but it also shows respect for cultural differences. Number 6. Use public transport. When visiting Japan, public transportation is a highly effective and necessary means of convenient travel. Japan has an extensive network of buses, trains, and subways that are renowned for being user-friendly, clean, and punctual. The Japan Rail Pass (JR Pass), which offers unlimited travel on JR trains, including the well-known Shinkansen bullet trains for a predetermined number of days, is one of the most practical choices for travelers. This pass is especially cost-effective for long-distance travel between cities, but it must be purchased prior to traveling to Japan. Furthermore, IC cards such as Pasbo or Suica are commonly utilized for local transportation within large cities. Convenience and flexibility are provided by these rechargeable smart cards, which can be used for purchases at convenience stores, buses, trains, and vending machines. The public transportation system in Japan is easy to use because of its well-marked English signage and friendly station personnel. It's best to use internet tools or smartphone apps to map out your routes ahead of time so you can travel as efficiently as possible and take in all of Japan's varied attractions. Number 5. Try local cuisine. Discovering the regional cuisine of Japan is an opportunity to fully engage with a rich culinary tradition that embodies the nation's culture, history, and regional diversity in addition to sating one's appetite. Fresh, seasoned ingredients and careful preparation methods are hallmarks of Japanese cuisine. Sushi, which is made of rice that has been vinegared and fresh seafood that is carefully arranged, is one of the classic dishes to try. Every bite of sushi, whether it be rolled sushi or fish slices on rice, offers a pleasing fusion of textures and flavors. Another well-known dish is ramen, which is served in steaming bowls with noodles and a tasty broth. Pork bamboo shoot slices and nori are frequently added as garnish. There are unique flavors worth trying in the regional variations, such as the miso ramen from Hokkaido and the pork bone broth from Hakata. Tempura, which offers lightly battered and deep-fried seafood and vegetables served with tensu dipping sauce, is a great option for those who are craving crispy treats. Savory Osaka pancakes known as okonomiyaki allow customers to add their own toppings, such as cabbage, pork, and seafood, and then top them off with mayonnaise and okonomiyaki sauce. Last but not least, Osaka is the birthplace of takoyaki, which are flavorful balls filled with octopus that are topped with mayo, bonito flakes, seaweed, and takoyaki sauce. Traveling through Japan's local cuisine is a unique and enriching experience that not only tantalizes the senses but also offers insight into the nation's culinary heritage. Number 4. Manage your cash. In Japan, cash is still necessary for a variety of transactions and circumstances, even though credit cards are becoming more and more accepted in cities and tourist attractions. Smaller stores, neighborhood restaurants, markets, and some lodging options might prefer to accept cash only, but larger establishments like hotels, department stores, and major restaurants usually accept credit cards. It is advisable to have cash in Japanese yen, especially when traveling off the beaten path or in rural areas where credit card acceptance may be limited. Many post offices, convenience stores like 7-Eleven, banks, and other locations in major cities and popular tourist destinations have ATMs that accept foreign cards. It's advisable to plan ahead and take out cash during business hours, as some ATMs, particularly those in rural areas, may have restricted operating hours. In order to make sure your cards will function properly overseas and to find out if there are any possible fees for making international withdrawals, it's also advisable to let your bank know about your travel schedule. In Japan, banks, airports, major train stations, and specialized exchange offices all have easy access to currency exchange services. Airports and exchange counters in tourist areas usually have competitive rates, though these can vary. While smaller amounts can be withdrawn as needed during your stay, it's usually advisable to exchange enough currency upon arrival to cover initial expenses like transportation and meals. Number 3. Respect public spaces. Respecting public spaces in Japan is integral to experiencing the country's culture, which places a high value on cleanliness, order, and consideration for others. Public areas, including streets, parks, and transportation systems, are meticulously maintained, and visitors are expected to adhere to these standards. Littering is uncommon and public trash bins are sparse, so it's customary to carry a small bag for your trash until you find a disposal site. Public transportation is typically quiet, with conversations kept to a minimum and phones set to silent mode. Designated smoking areas are strictly observed, as smoking outside these areas can result in fines. Queuing in an orderly fashion is a deeply ingrained practice, whether waiting for trains, buses, or at checkout lines. Additionally, offering seats to the elderly, pregnant women, and those with disabilities on public transport is a common courtesy. Respecting these practices not only ensures a smoother and more pleasant travel experience, but also demonstrates appreciation for the local culture and the efforts made to maintain such a clean and orderly environment. Additionally, it's common courtesy to offer seats on public transportation to the elderly, expectant mothers, and people with disabilities. Respecting these customs not only guarantees a more seamless and enjoyable travel experience, but it also shows respect for the local way of life and the work that goes into keeping the area so tidy and orderly. Number 2. Visit temples and shrines. Investigate the spiritual legacy of Japan with compassion and respect. Use the Temazuo water basin to wash your hands and mouth before entering a shrine or temple. After scooping some water with a ladle and rinsing your left and right hands, put some water in your cupped hand and rinse your mouth. Avoid drinking straight from the ladle. Observe the laws governing photography. Certain locations forbid taking pictures inside or during religious events. Always heed instructions and signs. Number 1. Seasonal considerations. The year-round variations in Japan's climate have an impact on travelers' experiences. Cherry blossom viewing, or hanami, is celebrated with picnics in parks and gardens from late March to early April. The best time to see the vivid fall foliage, or koyo, in locations like Kyoto, Nikko, and Hokkaido is from mid to late November. June through August is a hot and muggy summer, especially in cities. In northern regions such as Hokkaido and Japan Alps, there is heavy snowfall during the cold winter months of December through February. Traveling to Japan offers a blend of ancient traditions, modern conveniences, culinary delights, and natural beauty. If you liked our video, then the like button and subscribe to